have a whole bunch of books, as you can see, and I want to look through them and see which ones I want to take to Half Price Books to get them for either money back or back for books at Half Price Bookstore. Okay, so this is kind of going to be a long and tedious process, but we're literally just going to take the books that we don't want anymore and we're just going to put them back here so that we know which ones we want to take to Half Price Books. And I think there's quite a bit of them, either ones that I just don't think that they're really my reading style anymore because I got them recommended off of Book Talk or BookTube and they just don't really resonate with the vibes that I want to read anymore, or I've tried to read them, DNF'd them, don't really like them. Or some books, which I already have a series in mind, is a book series that I bought without even reading the first book first, and then found out that I didn't really like those books. So let's do that. All of the books that you saw, either the little 3 stack of books or the stack that you saw behind my TV, those books are all books that I'm going to keep. None of those books I'm going to get rid of. And also the books on the other side of my TV. All of those books are either rarely new books or I know they're books that I want to keep, so we're not going to touch those. But the ones in the basket or the ones in my TBR cart are the ones that we're going to be looking through today. Let's start with the basket because it's smaller and easier to manage. So this is the bin that we're going to be looking through. I think I'm going to speed this up where I'm just going to choose which books that I want to keep, make them in a stack, and then at the end I'll show you guys the stacks of books that we're going to be getting rid of. That's one container down. Can't even see the books, but they're right here. Okay, now we're gonna go through this big TBR cart and we're gonna see again what we want to keep or what we want to get rid of. I didn't even know I had this book. I used to be buying books to buy books. I love these. They're super cute. I bought them literally when they were like freshly coming out and stuff along with the show, but I just don't know if like I'm gonna like go back to them and look at them a whole lot. Yes, they would be cute on my shelf, but someone else who's more invested in them and wants to give them more love than I will give them deserves to have them. So I think these are going to unfortunately have to go. Love the TV show, love these books, but I just don't think they're really my vibe anymore. I hate a packed TBR cart too because I hate getting my books in and out of here, especially when there's a whole bunch and then I just spend up my books and stuff. But like I don't know a more effective way to store my books except for on the cart, but there's so many of them. But give me some ideas. YouTube video that I need to do is reading series that I haven't read before because I have so many series of books that I bought the whole series without even reading the first book and I need to read those, so that will probably be another YouTube video. Guys, we're sitting on top of these books. These are all books that we're going to keep and they're actually part of a video. These are all of our books. And then this little stack is a couple more that we're keeping. And then these stacks are ones that we're going to be getting rid of. Now let me show you what we're going to be getting rid of. First book we're going to be getting rid of is Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. Just not really like, it's a cute little book, something quick and easy to read. From what I remember, it's good, just not really my vibe anymore. Not really gonna like go back to it and not really going to recommend it. So we're gonna get rid of it. Someone else can love this book. Cute little cover though. Electric Idol, again a good book, just not really like my vibes anymore. Kind of along with that book in the same like world and stuff, we have Neon Gods. Again, we've got Hook, Line, and Sinker. So I have the other book, It Happened One Summer. I love this book. It's super good. Read this at the beginning of my book talk journey when I started reading books that book talkers recommended. Love this one, and she's annotated, and I don't think that you can give away annotated books just because people want to buy books that look new but they're used, so we have to keep this one. It's a pretty good book. Would recommend this one. This one is about the sister, and I just didn't really like the sister a whole lot, and I didn't really care for this one, so we're gonna get rid of this one. Anxious People was a good read, and I really liked the storyline. It's just I don't really think that I'll be going back to it a whole lot. You guys already know, I already said that I'm going to be getting rid of this whole series. Love the show, love these books. This is a trilogy that kind of wanted me to start looking through my books and seeing which ones that I wanted to get rid of, because this is another set of books that I just bought all of them without even reading the first one, but I kind of wasn't into the first book from what I can remember, so I just know that I'm not gonna like the rest of the books, so we're just going to get rid of this whole set. This is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I don't even really know what these books are about, but I wasn't really vibing with the first book from the first couple pages, so we're just gonna get rid of it. Then it's Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and it's Take a Hint, Danny Brown. I'm pretty sure each one of these books is about these three sisters and them finding their love match. Again, I tried to read this book, didn't really like it. It's The Roommate. It's just not really my vibe, and I didn't really like the writing style when I read it, so unfortunately we're going to be getting rid of this book. This is How You Lose the Time War. I don't really understand the concept of this book, if we're going to be completely honest. It's just not really a good read in my opinion. I don't know, it's kind of more of a smart person book in my opinion. Like, you really have to be paying attention and understand what you're reading. It just wasn't really a good read for me, and I didn't even think I finished it, so we're gonna be getting rid of this book. Ninth House, I got this book because I loved watching Haley Pham's whole like book talk videos and her recommendations, and she loved this book from what I can remember. It's just kind of, again, it's a really hard writing style in my opinion, and I just don't think that I'm going to get to it. Finally, we have In 5 Years. I just don't think that I'm going to really get into it, and again, if I want to read it, I'll read it on Kindle. So this is our stack of 16 books that we're going to be giving away to Half Price Books and making room for new books. So as you saw from some of the clips that I already got to today, I didn't really film a whole bunch because it was my first time filming with my camera out in public. I'll try to film a lot more from now on. It might be phone videos instead so that I can be a little bit more comfortable. But I'll try to get a lot more clips from now on when I'm book shopping or doing anything bookish related. But as you saw, I did go to Half Price Books and I dropped off my books. I got those for about almost $20 for all 16 of those books, and then we looked around a little while they checked my books to see which ones they were going to take or not take and if they were in good condition. After that, we went to Barnes & Nobles and we got some new books. I'll show you guys those a little bit later. And lastly, we went to IKEA to get my bookshelf that I'm going to put right over here off into this corner that you can't see right now. But I'm going to set up that bookshelf, and I'm going to show you guys all of my books that I have as of this moment and all of my books that are going on that bookshelf. So this is going to be my book collection. I don't know where to start. Actually, I'll show you guys what my living room looks like right now. After yesterday, after I chose which books I wanted to get rid of, then I tried to put some of my books together like series or trilogies for duologies, and then I try to put together some authors and some books that go together so that when we put them on the shelf, they're not all just kind of random. It has a flow to it. But let me show you what my living room looks like right now, and I'll show you the mess I'm dealing with. You guys were just on top of this series of books. Then I have this stack of books, which is going to be another video. Then I have all of these books. It's kind of hard to see, but I have all of these books. And then there's more on this side. And then all on my coffee table are all books as well. Let's get to the fun part and let's get to showing you guys my book collection. So a lot of these, as you guys have kind of already heard in this video, a lot of them are books that I required off of Book Talk. I started off there when I started getting into reading. In 2022, my grandma gave me this book that I'm about to show you, and then after getting obsessed with this book, I started to get really into reading. I hadn't really ever been a reader in my life, and I wasn't really into reading. I just read, like, obviously at school and stuff when they made you read, and like homework when they made you read, but I didn't willingly go and seek out reading on my own. My grandmother gave me this book, and then I read this book and I was like obsessed with it, and I started to get obsessed with reading, and that's when I found Book Talk, and I started going on there and finding all these books that people were recommending and stuff, and then I started buying them and acquiring my own collection, and then kind of led us to where we are today, me making my own Book Talk videos. The book she gave me, this is also a show on Hulu, Last I Knew. I just want to say that the book is 100,000 times better than the show. I tried watching the show and it was just not anything that I really imagined or the way I would have put it together for this book, but this book is so good. I don't know if you guys are people who like to know about the book before you read it, so I won't really say too much, but it's just like a darker twist on Christmas, and it's just, it kept me entertained the whole time. It kept me hooked. I wasn't bored. Even though it's a thicker book, this is a great book, and honestly I recommend you reading this one. So that's book number 1. From there on, I don't really know which books I got when, so we're just gonna go in a random order. Also, I want to tell you guys if I read it or not. Most of these books that I have not read, because I've either read books on Kindle Unlimited, or for a super long time I was in a reading slump this year, and honestly I think I read maybe 2 books this year, not back to back. They were kind of split up from a long period of time, and then I just started reading it again in October. So a lot of these have not been read, unfortunately, but we're going to try to make videos for that to get through this. But next we have The Goldfinch. I have not read this book. These 2 books don't really have any other books to go with them, so they're kind of standalones on their own in my collection. But then we have As Old as Time. These books, there's a whole bunch on the back, but they're like retellings of fairy tale stories, but like with a little dark twist. Like this one is about Beauty and the Beast, obviously, but it's about what if the Belle's mother cursed the beast, and then it goes through all of that stuff and gives the fairy tale a little twist and turn. So we have that one. I haven't read this one. I have this book that's apparently getting turned into a movie soon, but hasn't been released when, but I want to read it before it gets turned into a movie, and that's You Deserve Each Other. And I think I've tried to read a little bit of this book. As you can see, there's a couple tabs. I don't remember tabbing it, and then I DNF'd it, but I would like to read this, see if I like it, and then we can decide if we want to sell it or keep it. Another single book that I don't have any other books by this author is Better Than the Movie by Lynn Painter. I want to get a whole bunch of other books by this author because this one was just a super easy, quick palette cleanser. It was easy to read, it was quick, it was fast, it was entertaining, and it was a good read. You should definitely read this one. Then I also got this. This was one of my first Book Talk books that I got because it was popular. So we got The Unhoneymooners. I've read this one. Nothing I would like rave over, and if I had to choose one book to read for the rest of my life, I don't think it would be this one, but still something cute, easy, and simple to read. Then we also have The Soulmate Equation, and I have read it. We have Misery by Stephen King. I have read this one. I just don't really know if Stephen King is really my cup of tea. Books are kind of like very word heavy in my opinion. They're just kind of harder for me to read. That's not my reading style, but it was pretty good. Just I don't know if I would want to read it again, but I do quite like the book, so I'm gonna keep this one. We have The Summer of Broken Things. I have read this one before. A couple more book talk books that I've seen quite a few people talk about. We have The American Roommate Experience. I saw this one because Larry Reed read this book and I think she liked it because it's an add-on kind of the Spanish Love Deception. Don't think I've read this book yet and I kind of want to read it and then see if I want to keep it. Then our next book is Icebreakers. I have yet to read this book, but I hear good things about this book and I think the cover is so cute. So I'll have to read this one. Honestly, I didn't even know that I had this book. I realized now that I just be buying books to buy books, I feel like, which is not good for me. I know I need to actually read them. But we have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I have read and I do have another book by her. I'll show you guys that one next. But I have not read this one, but I just hear great things about this author. So, and I loved her other book that I have that I've read by her. So hopefully this is another great read. The book that I've read by Ali Hazelwood is The Love Hypothesis, and this book is getting turned into a movie, and I remember loving this book. I loved the characters together. I loved their storyline. I loved everything about them, so I can't wait to see how they turn this into a movie. But I loved this book, so that's why I'm hoping that I love Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This next book I've actually read recently and I loved it. That is The Housemaid. This book is also getting turned into a movie at the end of this year and I can't wait to see how the movie turns out because this book kept me on my toes. Loved the plot twist, loved the storyline, loved everything about this book, was hooked from chapter 2, so I can't wait to see how they turn it into a movie adaptation and hopefully it exceeds our expectations. This was the book that I last read before my current book, and that's Where the Crawdads Sing. I want to watch the movie now to see how they compare. We have another recent read and that was We Were Liars. This book, I was not expecting it to be as tiny as it was when I bought it, but that book is A Walk to Remember, and I still have to read this book and see if I like it. Next book we have is People We Meet on Vacation. This book is also getting turned into a movie. I remember DNFing this book, so I don't really know if I'll read it by the time that it becomes a movie. I just wasn't my favorite. I have read another book by Emily Henry. I'll show you guys that one next, but this one was just not really my cup of tea, but I would like to maybe try to force myself to read it before I see the movie, but I just don't know if I'm gonna read it. But I do like this book, the cover and everything, so it's probably gonna stay because it's a cute cover. Another book that I have by Emily Henry that I have actually read is Beach Read. I also have Book Lovers by Emily Henry and I have not read this book either, and I need to read this one and see maybe if this one's a little bit better than People We Meet on Vacation. These next couple books are a trilogy, but that is the first book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I loved this book. It was super entertaining. I loved the plot twist. I loved the characters in this book. I loved the writing style. It was super quick, easy. It was just an all-around enjoyable book. And I do have Good Girl Bad Blood, the second book in this trilogy. I just don't know where it is right now. Then I also have As Good as Dead. I've started Girl Bad Blood, but I haven't finished it, and I haven't started As Good as Dead. Unfortunately, I got As Good as Dead when it first came out, and so that's why it's a hardcover book. But I would like to, I think, eventually get it in a paperback and maybe just give this one away so that all of my books are the same type. Next we have Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is also a movie on Amazon Prime, and I didn't remember reading this book, but then I went back on my reading log that I keep of books that I've read and my review on them in my notes app, and apparently I did read this book, but I don't really remember it, and I want to rewatch the movie, but I want to read the book again first, so this might be a reread soon. This one, I know this is kind of a little bit of a controversial author, but we have It Ends With Us. I read all the way up until here of this book, and it's honestly just a super painful book in my opinion. I don't know why everyone, when Colleen Was Love, was raving about this book. It's just not my favorite, and honestly I don't know if I ever will finish reading this book. Coming off of that book, I do have the sequel or the prequel, whatever you want to call it, to that book of It Starts With Us. I also have not read this book. I do want to read these two just to get them over with, see what they're about, move on with my life, but I don't know. Still with Colleen, I have Reminders of Him. Now I do want to read this book because they're also coming out with this book as a movie, so I do really want to read this book though and see how the movie compares. And I actually got this book when it was new and it had just first come out, even though I hadn't ever really read many books by her. But I do have this one and I would like to read this one, and it's just honestly a really pretty cover in my opinion. Next book that I have is Every Summer After. I haven't read this book. People say it compares a lot to We Were Liars and the plot twist is very similar, so I don't know if I like this book, but we'll find out together. And we have Six Crimson Cranes. I haven't ever read this book. I didn't even realize I had this book. But we have All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I also haven't read this book. Honestly, don't really know what it's about either, but since I have it, I would like to read it, see what it's about, see if I want to keep it or not. Then we have A Flicker in the Dark. I haven't read much of this book. I'm about that far in, and honestly I don't remember what I've read of this book. Or maybe it's this book that people say is like We Were Liars. I don't know. This is The Summer of Broken Rules. This was a very popular book talk book that everyone loved, so I got it. I haven't read it yet. I need to get on to reading my physical TBR. These are two books I don't really know if I want to keep anymore. They're just not really my style, honestly. But that is Hooked and Scarred. I do really like the covers of these books. I do like kind of dark romance. It's kind of okay. I don't really like grab towards it or gravitate it, but if it gets recommended, I'll read it. But it's just not really my style. I don't really know if I would go back to these books. To each their own. If you love these books, then I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you found a book that you love. Just really don't know if they're my cup of tea, so I've been debating on whether I want to keep these or not. I'll keep you in the loop. And we have a trilogy, and that is the Cruel Prince trilogy. So we have the first book, The Cruel Prince. Have not read this book. Then I'm pretty sure it's The Queen of Nothing, and then the last and final book in the trilogy is Wicked King. So this is starting our problem of me buying trilogies or series and not even have read the first book, but I buy the whole series. So I have this whole trilogy and I haven't even read the first one. But I would like to do a video of reading different series, so that probably will be another video. I keep forgetting because these books aren't all together, but we do have another book by Colleen Hoover, that's Verity. This is also getting turned into a movie. I have read this book and I did love it. I loved the plot twist. I loved the storytelling. I loved the pace of this book. So I would recommend to read this book and see how the movie compares. But if you don't want to support that author, I totally understand. Just this was one of my favorite books. Then we have another beloved author, Ellen Hilderbrand, and the book that we have is The Perfect Couple. I think that I've read a couple pages from this book, but I don't really remember reading it, and she's kind of a bigger book, but I need to read this one and read a whole bunch of other books by this author. Next we have a whole series that I bought without even reading the first book, but I have every single one of those books. So we have Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I'm pretty sure I have read this book. I don't really remember my review on it, but we have the first one. Then I think I've read part of this one and then just stopped reading it, but we do have Hideaway, the second book. I have Kill Switch. We have the two little in-between books, Conclave and Fire Knight. And then we have the last one, which actually I lied, is the thickest book, and that is Nightfall. I haven't read any other one, like I said, besides Corrupt, and then I think I've read the second one, but I think people have loved this series. I don't really know if I'm gonna read the rest of them or if I'm just gonna get rid of them, but I want to try to force myself to read the rest of the series and then decide what I want to do with it. But only time will tell if I will actually get to do it. And we have another book that is beloved by others, and that is Dance of Thieves. I really do want to read this book. I've heard amazing things about this book, and I'm pretty sure that it's a duology. I don't have the other book because I wanted to try to have self-restraint with this book and read the first one before I get the rest of the books that go along with this one. But I do have this one. Do need to read it. Maybe I'll make a video out of it. We will see. Then another book that I bought only the first one of and didn't buy the rest of the series because I wanted to have self-control, and that is A Winter's Promise. I haven't heard too many people talk about this series, but I do remember seeing one video and it really got me hooked on wanting to read these. But I really need to read them and find out if I like them or not, because they are beautiful covers in my opinion, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. And we have Final Girls. I really need to read this one because I love horror and spooky and murder mysteries, and I need to see what this one's all about, but I just haven't gotten the chance to read it yet. Then we have the first book of a series, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I have really wanted to read this whole series because it is a beloved series, but I really do need to read the series, find out what it's all about, and hop on the bandwagon like everybody else. Sorry if you can hear the car. We'll definitely make a reading vlog of reading the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and then also the Thorn of Glass series. I want to read that one too, but I just don't know when I will get to it. Then another popular book talk book is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I really need to read this one right now and get into the fall vibes. This was going to be my next read, but I decided to read something else. But this one is beloved on TikTok, looks super fast paced and easy to read, and I need to see if I like this because I'm starting to see a lot more now controversy between this book of people who love it and people who hate it, and I need to form my own opinion. These next couple of books are a trilogy, but I don't have the last book unfortunately, but I do have the first two, and that is Things We Never Got Over. I remember reading this book and I quite liked it, so I would recommend these books. And then I don't think that I've read this one, but that is The Things We Hide from the Light. This book had characters from the first one, and the third one had characters from the other books. And that last book, I don't know the title unfortunately, but it's this one, and it's purple, and just all of these colors and covers look beautiful together. So I do need to finish reading the second one and read the third one, and then we can have ourselves a little set. This series I bought because it was super popular on TikTok. Steph Bohr here on YouTube, she loved this series, so I bought it without even reading the first one. And if we need to read the series, and this is definitely going to be another video of reading this series and seeing how I like it, but that is the Shatter Me series. I have the whole collection. So I don't know if these are in order, but we have Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and also these covers are beautiful. I love them. That's also another appeal that kind of drew me to buying the whole set because they're just beautiful covers. Ignite Me, Restore Me, Defy Me, Imagine Me, then Unite Me, Destroy Me, and Fracture Me. These little kind of like novella books. Then Find Me, which is Shadow Me and Reveal Me. And then I'm pretty sure this is the last book though, and that is Believe Me. We do have this whole series, and this will be a whole reading vlog of reading the series. And this author has written These Woven Delights, I'm pretty sure is the title, and I would like to read that book, purchase it, and read it eventually. But just know that this reading vlog is coming very soon. Let's jump into a couple more popular TikTok books real quick. We have Punk 57, another book that I just don't know if I want to keep. It's not really my vibe anymore, a dark romance, but it is kind of a cute cover. We have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Do love this book, do recommend it to everyone. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a pretty good author in my opinion, and I would like to read a couple other of her books like The Daisy Jones and the Six and One True Lovers. I just haven't gotten around to it, but based off of this book, I do love her writing style. And we have The Perfect Marriage. I don't really remember reading this book, but everyone loves it, so I would recommend you to read it and see what you think. Then we have The Silent Patient. I do love this book, though it is highly recommended for a reason. Kept me on my toes, was entertaining, and a lot of people I think say that they predicted kind of the plot twist in the ending. I didn't really see it coming. Would recommend for you to read this book. Then we have The Hating Game. This is also a movie with Lucy Hale. I kind of like the book a little bit more than the movie in my opinion, but it was a cute, easy, fast read. Then we have It Happened One Summer. I did give away the other book. I did love our main character Piper in this one, and I tabbed it a whole bunch, so I would recommend to read this one. Not something I would really rave about for the rest of my life, but it was a pretty good read. And we have a beloved book on Book Talk, and that is The Spanish Love Deception. Larry Reed loves this book, and I tabbed this book a lot. I don't really remember it. I feel like I have amnesia with these books, so if I don't really remember it, maybe I shouldn't really be raving about it. So let me know if you've read this book and let me know what you think. The book that I have only the first book of and don't have the whole series of, that is The Naturals. I honestly don't even really know what this book is about, but this author also wrote The Inheritance Game, and I need to read that trilogy because that one is loved on Book Talk. But I have this one, and honestly I love the covers of this series, and I need to read the first one. So yes, I want to continue reading the series and then buy the series because the covers are beautiful. That's also another horrible factor of mine, is if I like the cover, I'll read it and I'll get it just because I like the cover. We have the Truly Devious series. So we have Truly Devious, which is the first book. We have The Vanishing Stair. I don't really know what the series is about, but again, the covers are pretty cute. I'm pretty sure that it's YA, so hopefully it's easy and fast to read, and then we can see if we want to get rid of these. The Hand on the Wall, and last we have The Box in the Woods. And we have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm gonna say something kind of probably a little controversial, but I did not like this book. I know that's kind of more like realistic, I guess you'd say, that not all romances and relationships in real life have a happy ending either, but it just wasn't really my cup of tea. If you love it, I'm glad that you found a book that you love. I just don't really know if I would recommend this to a whole lot of people, but I know that this is a crowd favorite amongst a bunch of other people. Then we have another book I didn't know that I have by this author, but I do, and that is November 9th by Colleen Hoover. I actually did really like this book, honestly. In my opinion, again, I know some people don't want to give their money to her, but to each their own. I actually quite like this book. We have The Ex Talk. It was pretty okay. It was a pretty fine book to read it as a little palette cleanser, but I don't really remember the plot or the characters all that well, but I have read this one. But we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I have read this one. Like, I was really getting into tabbing because I saw it all over YouTube and TikTok of people tabbing their books, and usually they did like the color of the tabs to the book cover, and I did not have all those, so I just used what I had. But I was really into tabbing, even though I don't even remember what half of these tabs are for, but I did read this book. I don't really remember thinking that I liked it, but she's part of our collection. Then we have a loved trilogy, and that is The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I love these books covers. So we have The Summer I Turned Pretty, we have It's Not Summer Without You, and we have the third and final book, and that is We Will Always Have Summer. I have read the first one. I think I started reading the second one but haven't finished it, and then obviously I haven't read the third one. But I also kind of got these books around at the time that they started making the show, and I've watched season 1 and season 2. I haven't watched season 3, but I would also like to read these books to see how they compare, because I do remember reading book 1, and the way that they put the TV show together for season 1 was perfect and exactly how I imagined it, and it could not have been better, honestly, personally, in my eyes. So I do need to read the other ones and see if the books compare to the TV series. Next trilogy, we have Fine Print, we have Terms and Conditions, and we have Final Offer. I have read on Kindle Unlimited, I read the fine print, and then I have read Terms and Conditions, and I haven't read the Final Offer yet. I still need to read this one, but That's pretty good for us to have read 2 out of 3 of this trilogy. Next series, I don't know if these are in order, but I do know that this first book is getting turned into a movie, and I have read it. That's The Deal. I can't really remember anything about this book, honestly. I know that it's loved by a lot of people, and a lot of people are also excited that it's getting turned into a movie, and to see how it comes to life. We'll be making a video of reading the series and my whole thoughts, ideas, and opinions about it. But we have The Deal. I have read this first one. Then we have The Score. Have not read this one. We have The Goal, another one that we have not read and didn't need to. Then we have The Legacy and The Mistake. Also, all books that I haven't read, but I need to read the series. That will be another video coming very soon. Then these are 2 books that kind of started out as a duology and have formed into a series now, and that is Binding 13 and Keeping 13. I got these 2 books when they were the newer covers of the books, and I love them, but there's also newer covers that I saw in Barnes today, and I loved those ones. But I haven't even read these books, so I need to see if I like them and if I want to get the other covers, but they just look beautiful. There's a whole bunch of other books to this series now, but I just haven't gotten the chance to read them. They are loved by many, and Larry Reed raves about these books, so I want to make a video of reading these books and seeing what all the hype is about. Then we have a set of books that I've gotten from my parents for Christmas one year, and they're kind of a retelling of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and she's kind of the bad guy instead of the Wicked Witch. But this is a trilogy with Die, Rise, and War. I haven't read this yet. These next couple books are books that Steph loves, and those books are The Archer's Voice. I know that she raves about this one and loves this book. Then we have The Song of Achilles. I know a lot of people love this book and rave about this book as well. I bought a bunch of book talk books and just never really got the chance to read them. Just bought them because they were popular, honestly. But I would really like to read all of these books very soon and for my own thoughts. Then we have another book that Steph and Sarah here on YouTube love, and that is Love in Other Words. I know a lot of people love the relationship between the 2 characters in this book, and they annotate it and love this book down bad, so I need to read this book. Then we have If He Had Been With Me. I know that they came out If I Had Been With Her, I'm pretty sure, is the second book in this duology. I hear that this book is really sad, but I have not read this one. I also have not read Rock, Paper, Scissors, but I feel like I will love this one. It's kind of in my realm of mystery, murder, thriller, so I think that I will like this one a lot. We have The Whisper Man. I kind of read this when I was in a reading slump and haven't got the chance to finish it, so I need to continue reading this one. But I'm pretty sure that this one is also going to be turned into a movie, and from what I remember of reading this book, I have loved it, so I don't think I'll have a hard time getting through the rest. It just depends on when I'll read it. Also have my current read right now, which is If It Makes You Happy, and it's in my bedroom right now. I will not go get it, but that is currently my current read right now for fall vibes. I just know that I have that book and it's just not here. These are all of my only hardcover books. I don't really like hardcover books. I'm more of a paperback girly, but I know that a lot of people prefer hardbacks more. They're just a little bit more sturdy and can last a little longer, but I try not to keep too many of them. But here are all of my hardbacks. We have Malibu Rising. I got this when it was kind of new, and I hadn't ever really read very many books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, but I know that this is loved by many, and I can't wait to see what this book all entails. I have a Reese's Book Club favorite, and that is The Last Thing He Told Me. I have not read this one. We have another book that I've gotten for Christmas before from my parents, and that is The Evil Queen. I've never seen anyone talk about this one, so I need to read it for myself and see what it's all about. My last hardback that I have is a beloved book, and I got this when it first came out before it blew up, and that is Fourth Wing, and I need to do a reading video on reading this series. I haven't gotten the rest of the books because I haven't read this one first, and I want to see if I want to continue to read the series. But I know that this is a fan favorite by many. Most of these books are kind of more new, recent bought books that I haven't read. We have Local Woman Missing, and we have The Things We Leave Unfinished. Lots of people are very split between this book, but I've seen a lot of good recommendations for this book, so I need to read it and see what I think. I have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I got this one because there's characters in this one that are in the Caraval series, and they kind of go a little bit together, so I wanted to read this one, and it is a beautiful cover, so I wanted to add it to my collection. But this is the first book of the trilogy of this one, and then there's a trilogy of Caraval, and I don't have the other books of this trilogy. That will be another reading video. Then we have The Inheritance Game. This is a trilogy. I only have the first book. This was very loved on TikTok long ago, and I just never got around to reading it, but I would like to read the set and see what I think about it. Next couple books are all books that I've got in the past week, and so they're all recently new to me. So Haley Pham on YouTube, she loves this book, and that is The Atlas 6. I love sprayed edges, but more like sprayed edges that have pictures and stuff on the side, and this one only has black sprayed edges, and it is honestly personally not my favorite, but I can't wait to read this book. And it's got 2 other books. It's a trilogy, and I can't wait to see what the whole series has to entail. Then She Was Gone, and it's right up there in my alley of murder mystery thriller. I'm super excited honestly to read this one because, like I said, I love those genres. This one honestly I think that everyone needs to read once in their life, and I don't know when I will get to it because it is honestly such a sad book from what I hear, but that is A Little Life. This will also definitely be a reading video of me reading this book from cover to cover because we need to see all my honest, raw reactions to reading this book. I have The Thursday Murder Club. This is also either a movie or TV show, I can't really remember, on Netflix, and that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to read it. And this is also a series. I have just the first book in this trilogy, and that is Caraval. Another beautiful trilogy with beautiful covers. The last couple books that I have before I bought new books today, these I got from TJ Maxx and they were on sale, so I would recommend you to go check out your TJ Maxx and see if you can find some books for cheaper. Funny you should ask, this is originally 17 bucks and I got mine for $6.99, so a big discount on this book, and it's a popular book talk book, and now I can see what it's all about. We have a book that I didn't really know if I wanted to get just because I've seen mixed reviews on it, but that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I do love this cover. I think that it is beautiful. I just don't really like when books do this with the cover that goes barely all the way to the end, but still, this book is originally $19.99, so almost 20 bucks, and I got it for $9.99, so literally half off. I only purchased this book because it's popular and I've seen it on TikTok all over, and that is One Dark Window. I cannot wait to read this book. I have read this whole series. I just don't really know if I want to purchase the other books from this series. I do have Twisted Love. This is another loved series by Larry Reads, and I bought the whole set when these were the newest covers, but I haven't read a single one of these books. But this also will be a book video of reading this whole series, the Addicted Calloway series. So we have every single book in that series. We have Addicted to You, we have Ricochet, and I got all of these books because I loved the covers. You'll see that they are beautiful, but I have not read a single one of them. We have Hot House Flower, Thrive, Addicted After All, Kiss the Sky, Fuel the Fire, Long Way Down, Addicted for Now, last and final book of this series, Some Kind of Perfect. Again, this is loved by Larry Reads, and I would love to read the whole series and do a video on it and see how my thoughts and opinions are on this beloved series. Last and finally, I'm going to show you guys my most recent book haul, and then that will be the end of our collection. I got 3 new books today. Watching Allie here on YouTube recently one of her book videos, and she liked this book, so I had to go and pick it up, and that is Pride and Premeditation. Also, I love this book cover, so I can't wait to read it and see what I think about it. The way she described it, it sounded right up my alley, so I had to go and pick this one up. And this will definitely be a reading video, and that is Stephen King's 11/22/63. This one is going to take me quite a while because I'm kind of a little bit of a slower reader, and this is huge. But when I went to Barnes and Noble today, I could not find this book for the life of me and had to get a worker, and she helped us find it. But this was the last one, so it was a sign I need to read this right away. And lastly, a new release, we got Alchemized. I didn't really know if I wanted to get this book because it is a hardcover, but this is a new release and everyone is loving this book right now, and this will definitely be a reading vlog. If you can see lots of reading vlogs to come, that is the only way that it will motivate me to read all of these books. But that was my whole book collection. Let me get you guys a little bit of count. If I counted correctly, I'm pretty sure that I have 130 books in my whole collection as of right now. We also need 1,000 to have a full library, so we have a very long way to go, but I think that is a pretty good, decent little collection to have for right now. Okay, I'm sitting here editing this video, and I wanted to tell you guys just a little bit about some things that I didn't say while I was filming, but I will not be going to Half Price Books ever again, just because I kind of realized that I really don't want to give away my books. Even if I don't like them, I want to buy them and keep them just so that I can accrue more books and have a whole library. But I unfortunately regret the books that I already gave away, like the whole Heartstopper series. I would have loved to keep that, even though I might not have gone back to reading it a whole bunch. I still would have loved to have them be an amount in my full library, and the covers were super cute. But we live and we learn. Just know that I will never be giving my books to Half Price Books again. So now we just have to build my first bookshelf, put it together, and see how all of these books are going to go on there.